Once upon a time, there was a young basketball player who had dreams of becoming one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
You want to put on a show here. Here we go. 360 turn in the air. Two-hand slam. Wow, did you see the move by the kid? That's Kobe.
Did you see the finish by the kid?
2 seconds, 1 second. Kobe pump fake. Kobe for the win. Kobe Bryant.
He worked day and night, every day, for years and years and years and years and years. And as time went on, 20 years had passed, and he felt that he had accomplished all that he set out to accomplish.
The LA Lakers, the 2010 NBA champions.
But what he come to realize is that the goal that he set out initially of becoming the greatest of all time was a very fickle one. And when he realized that the most important thing in life is how your career moves and touches those around you and how it carries forward to the next generation.
Kobe Bryant have decided to take my talent to I have decided to skip college and take my talent to the NBA.
The first chapter of a story is often its most important. Our first page begins at Lower Merion High School outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where a 17-year-old Kobe Bryant has gradually become one of the biggest names in amateur basketball and has just announced his decision to forego college and submit his name for the 1996 NBA draft. After witnessing fellow top prospect Kevin Garnett be selected in the top 5 of the previous draft, Kobe knew that he was capable of making the jump to the pros and was now joining a stacked rookie class. While he had been a well-documented player in the media, with publications from national magazines to ESPN covering his rise in popularity, NBA franchises were still skeptical, especially considering there had never been a guard drafted straight out of high school. However, Bryant knew he only needed to impress one franchise to give him the opportunity he needed, and after impressive workouts for both the Celtics and Clippers, put on a performance in front of Lakers legend and general manager Jerry West that would change his life forever.
Then when he was in Los Angeles, his agent wanted us to work him out, which we did with some other kids, and he was by far, it was like no one else was in the gym, and these people were taken in the first round. We had Michael Cooper to work out with against him, and Michael Cooper was a tremendous defensive player. And it got to the point where it was almost embarrassing to watch this 17-year-old kick this old man's fanny, I called Michael at that time. And I said, hey, we don't need to see this anymore. This is ridiculous. I mean, this guy he's the best player in the draft.
As the 1996 draft rolled around, a draft that is considered by many to be one of the most talented in NBA history, Kobe would watch 12 players be selected before he finally heard his name called. But not for lack of interest. In fact, then Nets head coach John Calipari had been obsessed with Bryant since witnessing his workout for New Jersey. But Kobe's agent, who had had his sights set on the career opportunities that came with being in Los Angeles, threatened that his client would play overseas in Italy if the Nets even thought about selecting the 17-year-old with the 8th pick. The strategy worked, as 5 slots later, Bryant would get the call that every young hooper dreams of.
With the 13th pick in the 1996 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Kobe Bryant from Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania.
you had the scores to go to college. Why the NBA?
It's the ultimate challenge. You know, if I was 40 years old and I'm sitting back and I'm looking back at my career, if I went to college and played on the NBA, maybe I had a great career and maybe not, and I'm still having that doubt in my mind, could I have answered that challenge? Could I have responded to the challenge of the NBA? And that's something that I didn't want to have on my shoulders, so I just really accepted it.
Shortly after being selected, it was announced that Bryant's draft rights had been sent to the Los Angeles Lakers in return for veteran big man Vlade Divac. Not only would this move land Kobe with a franchise that believed in his potential, but it also freed up the cap space needed for LA to eventually lure the game's most dominant big man, Shaquille O'Neal, to the West Coast later that summer. In one offseason, the Lakers had brought in the pieces to re-establish themselves in the Western Conference and planted seeds that would eventually make them the NBA's ultimate powerhouse. In the meantime, a young Kobe Bryant was now one of the most recognizable faces on the Lakers roster, and his journey as a rookie would be anything but easy.
You know, I've learned how to play the NBA style of play, you know, the physicalness, the mental toughness that you need to get in there and get the job done. And the season in the NBA, you know, I understand it's going to be a roller coaster season for myself, but I'm willing to get in there and learn from these guys.
Despite showing some promise in the Summer League prior to the season, it wouldn't be until November 3rd, 1996 that Kobe Bryant would make his professional debut, becoming the second youngest player to ever play in an NBA game. After not playing in the season opener via coach's decision, the rookie would log only 6 minutes and 22 seconds in his first game, failing to score a single point and looking lost at times courtesy of the pace of the NBA. This would be a common theme throughout the first half of Kobe's rookie season. In fact, it would take him 2 months to finally score over 20 points in a professional game. Behind emerging all-stars Eddie Jones and Nick Van Exel, Kobe found himself fighting for minutes off the bench in a crowded Lakers backcourt. After convincing Shaq to come to the City of Angels, the franchise was focused on winning now, with a solid group of young players that had been on the cusp of a deep playoff run the past 2 seasons. With O'Neal coming in as the centerpiece, Kobe found himself being seen by the coaching staff as a valuable asset that would need to take this season to watch and learn. This meant that any opportunities Bryant got on the floor were valuable in showing what he was capable of. His minutes were inconsistent, but even in these lowest points of his young career, Kobe was still able to foreshadow the skill set that would eventually become the face of the franchise for the next 2 decades. Whether it be the impressive footwork that rivaled a seasoned vet, or his ability to somehow slither his 6'6" frame into the lane to convert a difficult shot, a young Bryant found himself dazzling fans and sometimes even teammates, giving a glimpse of the game that would eventually be crafted into one of basketball's most legendary skill sets.
But this kid right here, mark my words, and I said this earlier in the season, it's going to be unbelievable. I mean, and I'm not saying that because you hear it. I see him every day in practice.
I'm going to slide him a couple $100.
I see him every day in practice. I see how this kid works. I see how he, after practice, how he's still in the gym before practice. I know he goes to Pacific Palisades and shoots in their gym after school. He is just a tremendous talent.
After impressing in a couple late January performances, Coach Del Harris started giving Kobe more opportunities in the rotation, leading to a 9-game stretch prior to the All-Star break that saw him play over 22 minutes a night and average 11.8 points, including a highly anticipated matchup with Michael Jordan, who Kobe had been undoubtedly molding his game after. But it was the All-Star break itself, not this newfound production, that would firmly place Kobe in the league spotlight. Despite not quite being ready for the weekend's biggest showcase, Kobe would leave his mark on the event nonetheless, starting with the newly formatted Rookie Challenge. In his first chance to show the world exactly what he was capable of, Bryant took full advantage, bringing the Cleveland crowd to their feet with a 31-point performance that was filled with high-flying dunks and big shots against the rest of basketball's top young stars. However, possibly the most memorable moment came from the dunk contest.
Oh, that was big. Went down between his legs and got the reverse kick. Oh, between the legs. Kobe Bryant.
Look at him. Check him out.
Kobe Bryant, 18-year-old rookie.
Following the break, Bryant's time on the floor and production with the Lakers continued to fluctuate. There were some games he would play a solid chunk of minutes and others that he didn't see the floor at all. Regardless, he managed to earn some trust from the coaching staff by the end of the regular season, being named to the NBA's all-rookie second team and helping play a small part in the Lakers winning 56 games that season, earning them the 4th seed in the top-heavy West. Coach Del Harris would tighten up the rotation come playoff time, meaning once again Kobe would have to fight his way back onto the floor for significant minutes. He would make his playoff debut in the closing seconds of Game 1 of their first round matchup against the Trailblazers, checking in with only 46 seconds left in the blowout win. He would get his first real postseason opportunity in Game 3, where he'd scored 22 points in 26 minutes on the floor in what would be the Lakers' only loss of the series. As Los Angeles moved into the second round, they found themselves matched up with the Utah Jazz, who had become the top team in the West. The legendary duo of John Stockton and Karl Malone had been running pick and roll since Kobe had been a first grader in Italy, and the Lakers found themselves falling behind 0-2 in the series, unable to match the experience of the vets. As Game 3 tipped off in Los Angeles, it was obvious the Lakers needed a spark offensively, with Eddie Jones being held scoreless through the first 28 minutes. In a move that would change the landscape of the game, Coach Harris turned to Kobe off the bench, giving him some key minutes in the rotation. Thanks to some inspired defense by LA that held Malone to just 1 for 13 from the floor, the Lakers would hold a 13-point lead heading into the fourth quarter, and the baby Mamba would get his first taste of putting away a playoff opponent. Throughout the quarter, Kobe flashed the unguardable nature that would go on to define his career, drawing 12 free throws in the closing moments and helping to hold the lead even after Shaq fouled out with 7 minutes to play. It takes a certain type of player with a certain mentality to thrive come playoff time, and Kobe had proven that he was capable of embracing the moment. This performance would lead to an increased role for Kobe throughout the rest of the series, but after dropping another game at home to Utah in Game 4, it was Game 5 that would go on to be a defining moment in his career. Walking into an elimination game in front of the notoriously passionate Utah fan base, the Lakers had their work cut out for them, with top role player Byron Scott being out for the game with a wrist injury. Falling behind by 8 points at halftime, Kobe had been held scoreless in the first 9 minutes of action, and remained that way well into the third quarter. However, thanks to some aggressive defense, Los Angeles managed to trim the Jazz lead to 5 by the start of the fourth. Following his fourth quarter outburst in Game 3, Bryant had begun drawing the attention of Utah's best wing defenders, but once again he proved that he was up to facing the challenge of the big moment.
Right with him, the young rookie Shannon Anderson guarding the rookie Kobe Bryant. Bryant goes to the left corner, come back left to right, pull up on the angle left, jump and score, and counted, he's fouled by Shannon Anderson. What a move by Kobe Bryant. With it, out front to Kobe Bryant, fake a three, drive, leap and lean, off balance, shot good. Kobe Bryant. What a move. With Kobe Bryant, now right baseline, Kersey drive, reverse shot, it's good. What a shot. Inside a shot, underneath the load is Bryant, and he slams it in.
After dropping 9 points in the tight-fought quarter, and the Lakers seeing leading scorer Shaquille O'Neal foul out with only 1:46 remaining, LA had the ball with only 11 seconds left, and only one player on the floor wanted to take the final shot.
So Kobe Bryant, the young rookie, straight from high school, 8 seconds left. Bryant guarded by Russell. 5 seconds left. 4. Bryant drives, pull up, shot on the way, no good. Carmelo rebounds, we go to overtime.
After airballing the game-winning shot, Kobe would proceed to follow up with 3 more airballs during overtime, including 2 with less than a minute left. Utah would end up winning the game and clinching the series following the Lakers' loss. But what the Lakers gained was so much more valuable.
You know, I really thought that was a defining moment in his career. You know why? If somebody would have shot an air ball on our team and they'd shot a second one, they were going to shoot a third one. He was fearless. I think that's one of the things that spurred him to greatness. He wasn't going to allow himself to fail. I don't know if anyone on our team would have taken 3 shots that he took. I don't know that. But I'll guarantee you one thing, when he came back next year, it was a different person than what the year before. That was not going to happen again.
Right, like you're worried about how people may perceive you, and like you're walking around and it's embarrassing because you shot 5 air balls. Get over yourself, right? And then after that, it's okay, well, why did those air balls happen? Got it. High school, year before, we played 35 games, max, right? Week in between, spaced out, plenty of time to rest. In the NBA, it's back to back to back to back to back to back to back. I didn't have the legs. So you look at the shot, every shot was online. Every shot was online, but every shot was short. Right? I gotta get stronger. I gotta train differently. The weight training program that I'm doing, I gotta tailor it for an 82-game season so that when the playoffs come around, my legs are stronger and that ball gets there. So I look at it with rationale and say, okay, well, the reason why I shot air balls is because my legs aren't there. I go, well, next year they'll be there.
Kobe Bryant's desire to step up in the big moment and willingness to keep shooting even after he is an element of what would go on to define his legacy. Being unafraid of the consequences of a moment and being willing to take failures, study them, and turn them into long-term success. Bryant's rookie season was filled with ups and downs, from career-defining highlights to frustrating failures. But what it did was establish a foundation that allowed him to learn from past mistakes and come back better than before. Kobe may not have been ready for the big moments just yet, but he wasn't afraid of them either. It was this mindset that would eventually establish him as one of the game's best, and soon, it would help him achieve his ultimate goal.
One man who gives the fans here quite a show is the Lakers' Kobe Bryant. Bryant follows the tradition of Lakers showmen. There was Elgin Baylor in the 60s and Magic Johnson in the 80s. Now Kobe's carried the torch into the 21st century and done it with a style all his own.
Welcome to the Kobe Show.
There goes Kobe. Watch this play.
The explosion of Kobe Bryant.
How did the kid do that?
Kobe's giving the people what they came to see, that's for sure.
Entering the 1999 NBA season, Kobe Bryant had begun his rise towards being recognized as one of the league's premier players. In the year prior, he had more than doubled his points per game and time on the floor, carving out a larger role in the Lakers' rotation and forming one of the game's greatest 1-2 punches with the prime Shaquille O'Neal. Becoming a centerpiece on one of basketball's most legendary franchises had resulted in Bryant becoming an icon on and off the court, something that was made obvious when a fan vote had helped him secure his first All-Star appearance in 1998. From late-night talk show appearances to Adidas ad campaigns, Kobe was at the center of attention in the sports world, personality. This was a welcome sight for the NBA, who, following the retirement of Michael Jordan the previous year, had been desperately looking for a new era of players to help issue the league into the new millennium. On June 11, 1999, the Lakers announced that they had hired 6-time NBA champion Phil Jackson to become the team's head coach. After helping lead the Chicago Bulls to a decade of dominance, Jackson had vowed to never coach again, leaving the game after the core of his former dynasty disbanded. As during one of the final preseason games against the Washington Wizards, Kobe Bryant would be hit by an opposing player's elbow, resulting in the young star breaking his hand. Not realizing the extent of the injury, Bryant had stayed in the game and actually played the remainder of the contest. But when the pain was too much to handle the next morning, playing a then career-high 38 minutes per game, Bryant had fully gained the trust of the Lakers coaching staff, and now was proving nightly why he belonged in the conversation of the league's top guards. There was evidence of his confidence growing every time he stepped on the floor, as any reservations or potential that people had seen in a young Kobe was now melting away to reveal a polished skill set that rivaled the game's greatest scorers. From elite footwork and above the rim highlights to an ability to hit difficult shots that left the opposition clueless, the young Mamba had finally broken out of his shell and was showing the basketball world exactly what he was capable of. This, combined with O'Neal's elite play but the Suns would come out firing in Game 2, with Phoenix having a strong performance from a duo of their own, as Penny Hardaway and Robinson put together a 57-point outburst that had them in the lead with only 21 seconds remaining. Despite only having 13 points on 10 shots, Kobe ended up with the ball in his hands for the last possession, and the Staples Center was on its feet.
With 2.6 to go, giving the Lakers the lead. Kobe Bryant with 15 points made the biggest basket of the year for the Lakers.
Tell me a little bit about that shot.
Well, I just brought the ball up the court and I looked up at the clock and had enough time to kind of keep the floor spread and penetrate, get into the gap, see if I could create something. And fortunately, I hit the shot.
The biggest shot of Bryant's career at the time would be enough to swing the momentum in Los Angeles' favor, as LA climbed their way back into the fight. With the game tied and only a minute 50 remaining, Bryant would completely take over the game, drawing a foul that led to 2 free throws and then hitting a move on one of the greatest defenders of all time before pulling up for a tough mid-range jumper. The very next play, Kobe would go right back at Pippen, and this time it would be one of the biggest plays of his career. Reggie Miller and the Indiana Pacers had always been a step or two away. Whether it was the Jordan-led Bulls, the New York Knicks, or even a young Shaq in Orlando, someone had always stepped between them and a chance at the NBA Finals. Except 2000 was different. After winning 56 games and finishing first in the Central Division, the Pacers had fought their way up the ranks in the Eastern playoffs, returning to their 5th Eastern Conference Finals in the past 7 years. Not only slid his foot into Kobe's landing zone, but years later, he actually admitted to doing it on purpose.
But playing against him in the finals again, I'm thinking this is before any questions were being asked. So like now you look back in hindsight and I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's cool. I don't think I'm hard because I tried to hurt Kobe Bryant in a game. I'm disgusted by it because, you know, I wanted to win that bad that I was willing to basically cheat to do it.
So for your 21 years, you said you've always dreamed of winning a championship. Is it what you dreamed of?
Oh, it's everything and more. I mean, you have the Laker colors falling from the ceiling, the fans going crazy. I got the hat on and everything, covering my throat. It feels great.
No feeling quite like this.
Woo, love it. Can't wait to do it again.
The 2000 season had been a huge step for Kobe Bryant, as the NBA's best, and a dynasty was born.
From the moment he burst on the scene with his prodigious talent, style, and charisma, comparisons to the NBA's greatest player were made. And after he and Shaquille O'Neal fought and scrapped their way to a three-peat in Los Angeles, it seemed a matter of time before Kobe Bryant's name would be etched in history alongside that of his idol, Michael Jordan. But that road would not be without its trials and tribulations. 2 years ago, his world nearly came undone when he faced sexual assault allegations in a court of law. And like Jordan, Kobe's play would ultimately overcome all. The rift which sent Shaq packing to Miami, conflicts with head coach Phil Jackson, and a sometimes acrimonious relationship with the media. So, how will Kobe be remembered? As the man who broke up the 3-time world champions? As a truly great Lakers scoring legend? Or as one of the players who eclipsed even the great Michael Jordan? These days, it seems anything's possible.
The Kobe Bryant we saw heading into the 2005-2006 season was the NBA championship. This Kobe was a little more damaged both on and off the court. From very public feuds with former star teammate Shaquille O'Neal and coach Phil Jackson to a well-documented court trial that had changed many people's perception of his character, Bryant was left on a broken Lakers roster with no clear direction and with a career trajectory that seemed much less clear than before. The previous season, Kobe had taken a step back in his progression, still averaging 27 points, but shooting his lowest field goal percentage since 1998, and being named to the All-NBA third team, instead of the first team selection he had become accustomed to. The team itself had struggled in its first year without Shaq, translating to a losing record and the Lakers missing the playoffs for the first time in over a decade. Questions were raised about whether or not Kobe could be the main centerpiece of a contending team, and as the pressure mounted, it became clear in Bryant's mind that it was him against the world. Now, after mending his relationship with Phil Jackson, leading to the coach electing to return to Los Angeles, the upcoming season would not only be a crossroads for the Lakers as a franchise, but for Kobe's entire career.
You know, Jerry Rice told me, the great receiver, that he would, every time he stepped on the field, he would kind of tell himself he's not good enough, he has to prove. So the fear of failure was a way that he motivated himself. And I've heard you use that sometimes you feel like an underdog as well. Is that something that you have to kind of tell yourself so you push yourself even more?
Yeah, well, the thing that I'm afraid of is not winning another championship. That's the thing
That's a good fear,
that fears
right?
me. Yeah, I mean, that really drives me.
It was clear from opening night in 2005 that Bryant's mentality towards this season was different from anything that we had seen from him before. He was aggressive in his attack, relentlessly hunting for his shots and abusing opposing defenses despite clearly being their main focus. This led to a hot start, as Kobe scored over 30 points in each of his first 4 games, setting the tone for his season early and getting the Lakers off to a 3-1 start. In recent years, he had developed and perfected one of the game's greatest offensive skill sets, with a full bag of go-to moves that ranged from smooth finishes around the rim to elite footwork that produced difficult pull-ups in the mid-range and beyond. It was clear that in order for Los Angeles to win games, Bryant would have to be more aggressive in his hunt for scoring opportunities than ever before, as other than the acquisition of talented forward Lamar Odom the previous year, the roster was depleted compared to previous seasons. While this formula would make for an up and down season, it was the perfect circumstance to produce one of the greatest scoring seasons the game has ever seen.
Well, I think the game itself is about competition, right? So when you step out on that floor, the person that you're playing against, your opposition, must feel that way. And if they don't feel that way, I can smell it out pretty quickly. You know what I mean? But
and what do you do when you smell it out?
You go right at them, and you try to take their will away from them.
That's what you do, ain't it? You take people's will. Just tell the truth. That's what you do,
well,
Kobe.
When you play the game, when you're out there playing basketball, man, that's what you have to do. That's what you try to do.
Averaging 31 points through the first 24 games, the first legendary feat of the season would come on December 20th, 2005, where Bryant would accomplish something that nobody in the history of modern basketball had done before. In a 22-point win against the Mavericks, who would eventually go on to win 60 games on their way to the NBA Finals, Kobe would catch fire from the opening tip, knocking down difficult shots and attacking Dallas at every opportunity.
All the way out like Brisbane. Kobe keeps it alive for a little later, and Kobe does it again. 16-11. How hot is Kobe? Difficult one, and now Kobe hit on his way. This is it anyway, even with the contact early. That is his fifth board. Inside he goes, gets contact, and looks for the three-point play. Very aggressive. He's trying to make a statement for his teammates. Kobe on the crossover. Got it again. He's got 46. Lakers lead by 19. Kobe doesn't have the numbers, but boy, he's trying to make his own statement. On the reverse, he does. That's why I Lakers by 21. Watch this. Repeat season for Kobe on the leader. Yes, a new career best in the foul.
Kobe's at 58. Dallas ought to foul somebody else so that Kobe can't get it. Now Kobe for three. I don't believe it. Incredible. 62 for Kobe.
I take it back. He is good, but he has more than Dallas has. They better get him a standing O right now because this is the last you'll see him tonight.
By the time the third quarter buzzer had sounded, Bryant had single-handedly outscored the entire Mavericks team, dropping a then career-high 62 points and becoming the first player to accomplish the feat since the shot clock was introduced in 1954. The big performance against Dallas would be just a glimpse at what was to come, as the new year would also bring in a new level of play for the Lakers star. After scoring over 40 points in 6 of the first 10 games of 2006, his performances thus far into the season had established Bryant as the game's top scorer. But a seemingly meaningless Sunday night game against a struggling Raptors team on January 22nd would be the day Kobe Bryant would officially become a legend. The Toronto Raptors, who were still trying to find their identity as a franchise since the departure of star Vince Carter in the early 2000s, came into the game as a sub-500 team. They were led by an aging Jalen Rose, who was infamous for trying to injure Bryant and featured a budding star and future Hall of Famer Chris Bosh. But few people expected much from them as they entered an away game at the Staples Center. However, as had been the story at times throughout the season, the Lakers got off to a slow start, with the Raptors jumping out to an early 14-point lead despite Kobe scoring 26 points in the first half. Bryant had been a lone bright spot for Los Angeles, outscoring the rest of his teammates combined, but it was obvious that in order to avoid dropping an inexcusable game at home against an inferior opponent, he'd have to take his game to new heights.
We just wanted to win the game. And, in that type of situation, we were down by 18, 20 points. And we needed some energy. And as the leader of the ball club, I have to provide that spark.
They might get yo-yo in the dribble and stops at the top of the key. Well, Kobe's got his stroke. Didn't have it the other night for most of the game.
Yeah. They're giving him the ball to see if he can add to it.
Yes, he does. That's what Toronto's shooting right now.
That tells you what the Lakers are doing defensively.
Kobe again. Still 6.5 to play in the third. He pulls up for a three. Yes. Kobe again. There's Kobe trying to move around Mo Pete, trying to put him up. Finally shoots. Counted in the foul. You talked about him being in one of those zones. He's definitely in it right now.
Yeah, I was just feeling emotionally. The feeling I had was I could run all day. The basket is pretty big. I didn't feel like I was in one of those zones where the basket just feels like a big bucket. The basket felt bigger. And I could see everything that was going on before it was happening.
Kobe with it now. Lakers lead 105-96. Another three. Well, there goes Wilt. 67 points, Kobe Bryant. Bosh. For three again. Yes!
Well, there's 70.
He's got it again. Kobe's hand. Kobe guarded by Mo Peterson. Kobe pump fake for two. Kobe's got the Laker record. Two coming to get to 80 and 81. Bryant for 80. Kobe Bryant, 28 for 46 from the field. This would be 18 for 20 from the line and an 81-point game. 55 in the second half. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed the second greatest scoring performance in NBA history. And Kobe will be replaced, and listen to this crowd for number 8, Kobe Bryant.
Kobe's 81 points is seen as the standard for elite offensive performances to this day, but it also capped one of the greatest scoring months in the history of professional basketball. Kobe had averaged 43.4 points per game in the month of January, the highest scoring output in a single month by any player not named Wilt Chamberlain, and had scored over 45 points in 4 straight games, joining Wilt and Lakers legend Elgin Baylor as the only players to ever accomplish the feat. Over the course of the rest of the season, Bryant would continue putting up elite numbers, all while leading the Lakers to a 45-37 record, clinching the 7th seed in the Western Conference, and accomplishing his goal of leading them back to the playoffs for the first time without Shaq. Kobe would win the NBA scoring title for the first time in his career, averaging 35 points per game and becoming only the 5th player in league history to average over 35 for an entire season. This accomplishment was enough to once again be named All-NBA First Team, and his efforts on defense earned him his 4th First Team All-Defensive honors. Despite controversially losing the MVP voting to Suns point guard Steve Nash, Bryant had more than re-established himself as one of the NBA's top stars. He had cemented himself as the game's most dominant player. The Lakers would go on to lose in the first round of the playoffs to the Phoenix Suns, but not before going up 3-1 on the number 2 seed and forcing them to fight back and take a 7-game series.
They'd love to get it into Nash's hands, and they do. Ball knocked away, stolen by Parker. Here comes George to Kobe Bryant. Bryant inside, it's good! It's good! Tie game! Walton could tip it. Bryant with the save. Oh, you gotta get a shot here. Final seconds. Bryant for the win.
It was clear that Los Angeles needed to add more missing pieces to return to their previous place at the top of the Western Conference. But what the 2006 season accomplished for Kobe Bryant may have been more important than any single playoff series. When faced with a crossroads in his career, a point where he could have folded under the pressures both on and off the court, Bryant chose to dig down deeper, take the challenge head on, and mold his game into one of the most unstoppable offensive forces we've ever seen. From incredible performances to impossible shots, Kobe had proven time and time again throughout the season that he was ready and willing to take on whatever opposing teams threw at him, transforming his game into what the world would come to know as the Black Mamba. Now, as the season came to an end and his former teammate Shaquille O'Neal was left holding another NBA championship with his new team, the next step for Kobe and the Lakers was clear. It was time to go get another ring, by any means necessary.
We're a tough competition.
Some people sit there and say, y'all keep talking about Kobe being the greatest player in the game today. Y'all don't realize that Kobe trying to be arguably the greatest ever. Your response?
I gotta get a couple more rings.
Are you going to?
Yeah, you know what? I won't rest until we do.
Participated, the United States men failed to win it all at the Olympic Games. There'll be no gold in Athens. And there's the exclamation point for Argentina. No gold medal for the United States men. Many saw this happening. You might be starting to say there's a new era in Olympic basketball, and it's one in which the United States is no longer dominant.
Greece has stunned the United States of America. Theo Papaloukas kicks the ball up into the stands. Greece, they've won the European title. They've beaten the United States 101-95.
The state of USA basketball in 2007 can only be described with one word: disappointing. The glory days of the Dream Team were long gone, replaced with the bitter feeling of failure that had taken place in the 2004 Olympics and 2006 World Championships.
We was losing from 2000, like 04, we lost in Athens. Then we lost in the World Championship in 06. So at this time, Now it done seeped into the hip hop culture.
Yep. You can't even beat the Europeans in basketball anymore. The dream team is dead.
Everybody want to play in the NBA, right? Everybody's goal is to make it to the NBA. We're the top. And so for us to be the best in basketball and to lose when it comes to the world, we felt a certain way about ourselves. And so once we got to 2008, there was no games to be played on that basketball field. You know, I mean, we knew that the world was catching up when it comes to talent. You know, we couldn't just show up anymore. We had to actually play as a team and win, and not just be a bunch of individuals.
When we lost in 2004, it was a heavy blow for us. You know, this is a sport that we've dominated for years. And I think, there's a lot of beauty in the fact that we lost, because it means that the game is growing so much, and there's so many countries out there that are playing at a high level. But at the same time, it was like, okay, all right, that's beautiful, but now we want it back. Kind of reclaiming, what we feel we started.
Jerry Colangelo said, Mike, we need to win the gold medal, but we need to win the respect of the world and our own country.
After a 22-year absence, the Boston Celtics are NBA champions once again. The greatest single season in Houston. And number 17, soon to be raised to the rafters.
Kobe, how do you make your team mentally tougher next year?
I think experiences do that. I think once you go through your ups and downs and struggle a little bit, taste defeat, I think that makes you a little tougher.
Following a loss in the 2008 finals, Kobe Bean Bryant was at a crossroads in his career. After winning 3 finals alongside Shaquille O'Neal early in his career, the Black Mamba found himself still searching for his first successful title run as the top dog. He had fully emerged as the NBA's best, a lethal scorer with an already growing aura surrounding his work ethic. Although Kobe and the Lakers had reached the finals that year, falling short to the Celtics had shown Bryant there was still something missing. A character trait in himself that needed to be unlocked for him to fully take on his Renaissance era. When Team USA came calling that summer, it offered the reigning MVP exactly what he needed in that moment. An opportunity to prove to himself and the world that he was capable of leading a group of men to their ultimate prize. A gold medal at the 2008 Olympics.
He was the last piece that we needed.
Yeah.
And we knew, all right, in order for us to make a stance and show the rest of the world what type of talent we need the heavy hitters.
Kobe was also trying to transform himself. He wanted to win the respect of his peers. And so he showed himself at the level that you're saying. He's the most prepared guy that I've ever seen.
Fueled by the motivation of his recent loss, as well as pride for his country, Kobe began to set the tone immediately upon arrival. 2008's roster was one of the most talented ever assembled, being coined the Redeem Team thanks to the team's clear mission. Featuring new and established stars like LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Carmelo Anthony, the team was loaded with star power, but was just missing a veteran example to follow.
So I'm with my staff in Vegas a couple days before the team comes in, and all of a sudden there's a knock on the door. Just 2 days early, and it's Kobe. He said, "Coach, I need to ask you a favor." And I said, "Yeah, what is it?" And he said, "I want to guard the best perimeter player on every team that we play." Now, he's the NBA scoring champ. He's the best player in the league at that time. And he knew that he would have to change a little bit and be a leader. And then he pauses, and his eyes, he and Jordan had the same eyes. They killed you with their eyes. And he leans forward and he said, "Coach, I promise you I'll destroy him." We go and we have a team meeting, and the first practice, he doesn't take a shot. He does not take one shot. And he's playing defense. And so I call him over afterwards. I said, yo, this destroy thing. He says, "Coach, I promised you I'll destroy him." I said, "Look, I've seen you destroy teams offensively. Will you shoot the frickin' ball?" And he smiled, he had that smile. And he said from then on, I was the only coach ever to ask him to shoot.
And this is when I knew Kobe was a monster, though. You hear about it, but you really, if you don't see it, you really, really don't know. And so we get into a city, one of the cities very late. And immediately we all go to the gym, all my guys, it's Melo, it's B, it's Bron, it's Kobe. Like we all go to the gym, we all get our work in. It's real late. And so after we get done getting our work in, me and my guys, we say, hey, like, let's meet for breakfast in the morning. Like if you can't sleep, whoever first one wake up, hit us up, we gonna go eat. And so we do that. We probably get like 3 hours of sleep. You can't sleep much when you're traveling across the world, like we were traveling. And we probably get like 3 hours of sleep, and we wake up, we go down to where the food is. And as we walking down, slubbing with sleep in our eyes, Kobe Bryant is sitting there with ice on his knees already, right? So we walk up to Kobe, we like, "Kobe, what's up?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, I just finished the workout, and I'm about to go do another one." And at that moment, I was like, "Wait, hold on. We just worked out about 3 hours ago. You know what I mean? And like you've done another workout and you about to go do another one." That's when I was like, okay, I got to get my stuff together, because this dude right here is on a whole different level than even I'm on, and I'm supposed to be great.
Our first practice, it's kind of a surreal moment, because everyone's like kind of watching to see who's going to do what's LeBron going to do, what's Kobe going to do. And my job was to get those two to talk. They're both eyeing each other. They want to win. But I think with LeBron and Kobe, it was the 4 o'clock workouts that Kobe did. LeBron sees that, okay, you working, I'm going to work.
It's contagious. When you see, at the time he was probably, him and LeBron are the best players in the world, arguably. It's kind of one of those battles, went back and forth at the time. You see this man, the work he's putting in, the hours he's putting in the gym, the extra shots he's getting up, you can't help it. Like, you're not gonna go sit down on the sideline while he's still out here at 30, I think he might have been 30 at the time. See him doing that, and I'm 23 years old, I got to get up there too, and so it was great. It was great being able to work out with him, to learn from him, to talk to him, to pick his brain about things, and then have a chance to compete with him.
While Kobe had been named MVP of the league in 2008, LeBron James had quickly made his rise as one of the NBA's best, living up to the hype that had followed him early in his career. This created a unique power dynamic as the Redeem team prepared for the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, a relationship that could make or break the team's success.
Like they were great friends, right? And their interaction was amazing. But it's hard not to see that they had like there's a little bit of a, because there's like two alpha dogs being in the same room. Mm-hmm. They want to assert their dominance. And LeBron is different than Kobe. LeBron is more playful, a little less serious, but works just as hard, And Kobe is more just about his business.
He and LeBron developed a relationship that was needed to create the culture.
LeBron did something every morning that I don't think a lot of people understood. He was funny. He was a comedian in the morning when he would do like impersonations of introducing someone, Kobe Bean, Bryant, when he would do these type of things and people would laugh, Kobe, you could see, Kobe normally would be serious in warm-ups, but then Kobe started laughing, and then Kobe started joining in, and it was like, okay, all right, we're gonna be just fine.
I remember being very excited. I had never experienced it before. And so coming into the opening ceremonies, I was just like this is amazing, because you have all the top athletes in the world all in one place. And I remember it just being a surreal experience. And you look around, you have some of the best in the world at what they do. So for me, that's even more special than being out in LA and seeing celebrities walking around. We couldn't wait to get after it. We couldn't wait to challenge for that gold medal. You know, we had a lot of energy, and it's a shot at redemption. We wanted to show the world that, you know, we are the best basketball playing country in the world.
7 turnovers for China. Oh, strong finish for Kobe Bryant. Ball back to James. Oh,
the United States could not turn them over. Here's Wade once again with the steal.
Throws it in.
Kobe came to me as he knew I was coming off the bench, and he said, "Hey, D, when you get in, I'm going to pick up the defender 94 feet. I'm going to harass him. I'm going to turn him. I'm going to turn him. I'm going to turn him. And once they get to half court, I've turned them enough." Kobe knew I was fast. He knew I was quick. And so he was like, "I want you to."
Yeah, that's exactly what. Here's Dwayne Wade once again. This guy.
For me, I looked at that. I'm like, I'm the younger guy. I'm the least accomplished guy in this group. I should be the one that you say. He should have told me, "D, you go pressure, and I'm going to do that." But his mindset wasn't that way. And so to be able to play with a guy who had everything offensively, who could have just demanded us to give him the ball every time down, was worried about defense in the Olympics. Come on, bro. What am I going to do? I'm going to follow suit.
Boy, he got hammered there. LeBron James got away with it. Here comes Kobe Bryant. Stolen by Jason Kidd. Ahead to Kobe Bryant.
We made the commitment to ourselves and to our country to not worry about or focus about how we played with our teams in the NBA. This is not that. This is a different team. So we have to play a different way. Is best suited for our team here.
Having reached the gold medal game, the last remaining team between USA and their goal was Spain.
We were playing against Spain, and Spain, they're just very tactically sound, very fundamentally sound, extremely intelligent. They grew up playing together, so they all knew each other extremely well. So that was a strength that they had that we didn't, because we just put a collection of guys together and tried to get to know each other over 2 years when they've been playing together since they were 10 or 11 years old.
The talented Spanish squad was led by the Gasol brothers, one of which had been Kobe's running mate during the Lakers' run to the NBA Finals that same year. However, on this night, Bryant was out to prove that nothing would get in the way of Team USA capturing the gold, not even his own teammate.
He just tried to set up the tone, the physicality of the game. He just wanted to send a message to his teammate, yeah, this is my brother. We're gonna play together in the NBA, but right now I'm trying to beat him, and we're gonna beat him. And I'm gonna run through him or anyone that gets in our way.
Well, short ball deflected all the way out to Kobe Bryant. Uncontested jams. That's Coach Cam to go work on the offense against the zone. Paul throws it ahead. Kobe Bryant up.
For our team at that time, it wasn't really about confidence. It was about execution. They make an adjustment.
And I remember just being a huge fight, just very competitive, very physical throughout the 40 minutes, back and forth. We never gave up. Obviously, they didn't want to lose.
Reyes trying to finish in traffic, not there. Pau has the rebound, lays it in. He's going to just fire right over LeBron James. Oh, my.
Don't worry about the score. I don't want you to think that Spain is going to roll over. Don't get too excited about, oh my God, we got more.
Strip. This whole sequence will lead to a nice dish from Kobe.
They brought their A team. I think that was probably as good or better than the potentially original Dream Team.
I think my job, because I had been there before, I was the only one on the team that far that had won championships. And so they look for me to really have that poise in those type of situations, and not get rattled, not get flustered about it. It is what it is. And so just to kind of keep that composure was part of my job.
Spain right back in the thick of this one.
When they cut it to 2 points, 3 minutes to go, I was like, man, this is this is so much fun. You know, I remember wanting the ball in those situations.
Penetration. Kicks it back out to Bryant. Bryant puts up the three. That's good. Kobe Bryant from downtown. And the foul.
Is there anybody in the NBA who loves these moments more than Kobe Bryant? Those guys were really, really talented individuals. Some of the best in the history as well. A lot of people think of that game as one of the best basketball games in the history of the game, so that's something to be proud of.
When the buzzer went off, we all just ran to each other because it had been a really long journey for us, and it was something that was very personal for us to put our country back on top.
For the red, white, and blue, a long journey back to the top, all the hard work, all the questions. Could they do it? Had the world really caught up to the best players in the world?
Playing for your country. When you play in the NBA, you're playing for, you know, it carries a great honor with that.
The 2008 Redeem team will forever be known as the team who re-established USA basketball as the world's leader on the hardwood. They overcame the previous years of disappointment, bringing together one of the most talented rosters ever assembled to bring gold back to North America.
To have Kobe Bryant at the time, who was a little older than us, but still was in his prime, we needed his leadership. He's won 3 championships by this time. We knew that we needed to do this. And this was not just for us, this was for the future of the Olympics. You know, we lose 2 years in a row, it's over for us. And so I'm proud when I look at the guys in the Olympics and get a chance to play now, because I know what we went through to get that respect back for the USA.
At the center of it all, behind the team's run that summer in Beijing, lies a more detailed story of how the experience rejuvenated Kobe Bryant entering the back half of his career. In the same way that Kobe had been able to motivate the players of Team USA, showing them exactly what it takes to win, they had also shown him that he had what it takes to lead a team to the finish line. Now, after adding Olympic gold to his already growing list of accolades, the Black Mamba was ready for a new mission. His pursuit of another NBA championship.
The Lakers have notified the league Bryant will wear 24 next year.
Ball. Look who's got double clutch reverse. Pop off, Kobe. Go ahead and pop it a little bit. At 95-90 juice. Behind his back on a spin. Oh, and the slam. He'll go to the line. The crowd was on their feet.
One of our top stories, the Lakers adding some firepower, pulling off a blockbuster deal. Pau Gasol, Kobe Bryant's new teammate.
10, 14 points, 4 boards. Gasol. That'll seal the deal.
Kobe Bryant, the recipient of the 2007-2008 NBA Most Valuable Player Award.
After a 22-year absence, the Boston Celtics are NBA champions once again.
Kobe, you won the MVP, you led the team to the finals. How do you characterize this season?
Well, I mean, the goal was to win a championship. You know, it wasn't to win MVP or anything like that, it was to win a championship. So, you know, from that aspect, we failed.
From the moment the Lakers entered training camp in 2008, there was one word that was unanimously on everyone's mind: revenge.
When we entered training camp this year, we were still very disappointed and almost angry from the way our season ended, you know, last year. And you could feel it in the room. You know, the bad taste was still there.
Now, as he headed back to Los Angeles to regroup ahead of the upcoming season, the expectation for success had been set, and nothing less would be accepted. Over the course of the past year, Kobe and talented big man Pau Gasol had formed one of the game's greatest 1-2 punches, with Bryant continuing his dominance on his way to his first career MVP. Standing at 7 feet tall, Gasol had been a bright spot on a struggling Grizzlies team, But the triangle offense in LA gave the talented big plenty of opportunities to showcase his skill. Finally having a consistent second scoring option for Bryant, the rest of the roster had fallen perfectly into place. Now well established with the team, Lamar Odom was the glue that held the offense together, and promising young players like Andrew Bynum and Trevor Ariza played important roles on both ends of the floor. Longtime teammate Derek Fisher was one of the most efficient point guards in the league, and had the NBA Finals experience needed to help Kobe steer the ship. Each member of the roster had played a key role in the Lakers reaching the NBA Finals the previous year, and now with the knowledge of what it takes to get to the game's biggest stage, Bryant was determined to lead them back to the top for redemption. And this time, he was going to do things his way.
He understood that without you and everybody else being on that mode, we were going to fall short. So he had to have everyone kind of buy into his mindset of obsession for winning and competing and challenging everyone. And that's what it took to be a champion.
Anxious to put the bitter loss in the NBA Finals behind them, Los Angeles got off to a strong start in 2008, winning their first 7 games on their way to tying the franchise record for most wins to start a season. By mid-December, the team had hit their stride, compiling a 21-3 record and putting the entire league on notice. Perhaps the most notable warning shot came on Christmas Day 2008, when the Lakers matched up with a red-hot Celtics team entering the game riding a 19-game winning streak. The Lakers' defense had been elite all season, and combined with a 27-point performance from Kobe, they were able to beat down Boston in the Staples Center on their way to a 9-point victory.
It's special, obviously, because there's so much hype around it and playing Christmas Day. And, everybody talking about us being soft and so forth. So I think we've gotten better and, a better defensive system. And I think we're just a better ball club.
While the Lakers would continue to rack up wins, with Kobe being named the Western Conference Player of the Month for December, a moment during a late January contest against the Memphis Grizzlies would test the mental strength of not only Kobe, but the rest of the team altogether.
Bynum is hurt. Oh no. Oh no. Andrew Bynum, you can hear him screaming in pain. And Kobe Bryant landed right into his knee.
After missing over 60 games the previous year due to injury, Andrew Bynum had been seen as the missing piece for the Lakers going into this season. And now facing the possibility of losing the young big for another unknown amount of time, it was easy to see the uncertainty in the eyes of the Lakers. Heading into a primetime game in Madison Square Garden, there was no better opportunity for a statement from the Black Mamba.
We think we got Andrew, who's going to make a big difference for us. Now he goes down, we don't know how long he's going to be out for. The team was a little deflated. I was pissed off. You know what I mean? Because it's like, no, we're winning the championship this year, come hella high water. And my guys were down. Yeah. And going into New York, big game, I said, all right, I got to send a message to my guys and say, no, listen, we're doing this. Yeah. I understand it's hard, you went down, but we're getting it done. Yeah. So it's important to get into that mind frame of, no, nothing matters. And I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to see no celebrities on the sideline. Don't dap me. Don't say hi to me. I don't care about none of y'all tonight.
Yeah, you just focus.
That was it.
Now the length of Wilson Chandler up against Kobe. And Kobe, yeah, what about right off the bench. Kobe over Chandler after the crossover. Inside the arc. I don't care. It's looked good, didn't it? By 5. He's got Kobe on the wing, and Kobe flying home. Two-hander by 7. 27 for 24. On a fall away. The floater.
That New York game, I knew D'Antoni's philosophies are never to double a guy that's high, because he always thinks they're going to cool off eventually, right? So I understood that. So once I got rolling, I knew that was going to be the case.
Kobe on a spin, what a pivot. Yes! 121-103, 59 for Kobe. What a display! Play at an incredible level. He's got it. Kobe Bryant has now scored more points than any other player at Madison Square Garden with 61.
By the end of the regular season, Kobe and the Lakers had put together the second best record in the NBA, finishing 65-17 and earning the #1 seed in the West. Bryant had continued his dominance, averaging 26.8 points per game and 5 assists, while once again securing spots on both the All-NBA First Team and First Team All-Defense. That being said, the time for the playoffs had finally arrived, and all individual honors took a back seat as Kobe and the rest of Los Angeles turned their attention to the season's main goal. After gaining the experience of winning the Western Conference playoffs the previous season, the Lakers entered the 2009 postseason with a clear understanding of what it takes to reach the finals.
For the Lakers, it's only one goal, and that's to win a championship. They've been waiting to start the postseason again, and they look like they are primed for a long, long run.
The first team standing in their way came in the form of the 8th-seeded Utah Jazz, who were led by a young core of future All-Stars and coached by the legendary Jerry Sloan. Los Angeles knew it couldn't take any opponent lightly and came out the gates aggressive, winning the first 2 games on their way to a 4-1 series victory and a ticket to the next round. While the Lakers had looked the part of title contenders in round 1, waiting for them in round 2 was the hungry Houston Rockets, who despite losing superstar Tracy McGrady earlier in the year, had still managed to win 53 games behind future Hall of Famer Yao Ming. The Rockets embodied the underdog role, with one of the league's best defenders in Ron Artest leading the charge in trying to take the Lakers out of their comfort zone. The strategy would work to perfection, as a gritty Houston team would shock the basketball world, beating Los Angeles on their home court and sending a wake-up call to the Lakers. Despite Kobe scoring 32 in Game 1, the Rockets had out-hustled LA behind Yao's 28-point and 10-rebound performance, making it clear that this series would be anything but easy. Game 2 had quickly become a must-win for the Lakers, and with Bryant being hungry as ever for the championship, he would lead his team as only he knew how.
Lakers have started 7-9. Battier watches Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant has started this game 4-5. Bryant tries on the machine. Battier draws the foul as Kobe looks over at Doug Collins and said, "This guy cannot guard me."
Kobe would drop 40 points in a crucial Game 2 win, fighting through the Rockets' scrappy defense and proving that he was willing to go to any lengths to carry his team to the NBA Finals.
Right from the opening tip, want to be aggressive, get after it a little bit. We're being tested, so, this is when it's the most fun, to be honest with you.
The Rockets and Lakers would split the next 2 games in Houston, with Houston picking up a huge victory in Game 4, putting together an all-around team effort as star big man Yao Ming had gone down with a fracture in his right foot. Los Angeles would respond with a massive 40-point win on their home court, and an opportunity was presented to close the series out in 6 games. But once again, they found themselves struggling to find ways to put away the Rockets, as the very next game, Houston would scratch and claw its way to force a Game 7. With their backs against the wall to an unexpected opponent, Los Angeles would respond to the challenge, putting together one of their best efforts in the series behind the suffocating defense that they had prided themselves on all season long. The Lakers ended the night with a 19-point win and a well-earned ticket to the Western Conference Finals.
It's a good experience to face an elimination game, to face the seesaw battle of a playoff series, going up, going down. I think it helps a team come together.
After the grueling 7-game series with Houston, Bryant and the Lakers understood the importance of taking care of business in the conference finals, especially if they wanted some much-needed rest heading into the championship series. Matching up with LA at the top of the West was a strong Denver Nuggets team, who behind young star Carmelo Anthony and former Finals MVP Chauncey Billups had clinched the number 2 seed and were making a case as legitimate contenders. Kobe and the Lakers would start the series off strong, with Bryant dropping 40 points and Gasol dominating the paint on the way to a 2-point victory. However, Game 2 would be another fight to the finish, with each team's star going at each other as Carmelo and Kobe combined for 66 points in a showdown at the Staples Center.
It's J.R. Smith who sparks him off the bench as Carmelo Anthony hits another and continues his hot hand. Bryant drives inside the finish. Anthony gets inside, blocked from behind by Odom. That time he's fouled and he puts it in. And that's what we've been seeing from Anthony. Anthony on Bryant. Bryant for three. Tie game!
Neither team's defense could gain control, and as the dust settled, the Nuggets were able to pull out a hard-fought 106-103 victory, with the series headed to Denver. Despite splitting the next 2 games to tie the series up at 2 games apiece, the Lakers had a certain amount of composure, with every guy in the locker room knowing they had to avoid a repeat of the Rockets series. With a chance at redemption in the finals on their minds, Los Angeles would win back-to-back games to close out the Nuggets, including a 35-point dagger performance by Kobe Bryant to send his Lakers back to the game's greatest stage.
This is where it becomes the greatest challenge for us.
Let somebody handle your ticket. Let somebody take your phone calls. Tell them leave you alone for another 2 weeks.
Focus now. We gotta focus. 1, 2, 3, break.
Waiting for the Lakers at the summit of the postseason was an unexpected but still dangerous opponent. The number 3 seed Orlando Magic had survived a gauntlet in the Eastern Conference, knocking off the defending champion Celtics in an intense 7-game series, and then taking out the 66-win top-seeded Cavaliers in 6 games. The Magic were led by a young star big man in Dwight Howard, who had put up over 20 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game during the regular season. And they had a pair of talented forwards in Hedo Turkoglu and Rashard Lewis, who made up a well-balanced scoring attack. Los Angeles entered the series as the favorites, with few people expecting Orlando to be able to compete with their experience. But after narrowly avoiding an upset earlier in the playoffs, the Lakers knew not to take any opponent lightly. As Game 1 was underway at the Staples Center, it was clear the Lakers had done their homework, swarming Dwight Howard at every opportunity in an effort to slow him down. From there, Los Angeles played the elite defense they had been known for all season, holding all Magic players below 13 points and forcing their 3 main scorers to all shoot below 27% from the field. On the other end, Kobe had risen to the challenge once again, determined to make his mark on the series from the opening tip and fueled with the desire to win another ring after a 7-year drought.
Deflected by Nelson. Bryant gets it right back. Falling away, tough shot, puts it in. Oh, what a shot from Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant hit, count it, and one. Shot clock winding down. Kobe Bryant on the drive, gets to the basket. Oh, what a move from Kobe Bryant as the shot clock expires. Couple of fakes. Shot clock at 2, he's got to put it up. Tries to bank it, does so, and a foul. Kobe Bryant, brilliant here in the 3rd quarter, and the Lakers up by 22.
Bryant would continue to hunt for his spots and stay aggressive throughout the entire contest, scoring 18 points in the 3rd quarter alone on his way to a 40-point and 8-assist performance. The Lakers would come out on top, pulling off a 25-point victory to take Game 1 and sending a message to the Magic.
I just want it so bad. I just want it really bad. So, it's just, you just put everything you have into the game, and then, your emotions kind of flow out of you.
Anxious to put Game 1 behind them, the Magic came out strong in Game 2, with the talented forward Rashard Lewis making his presence known early. With so much attention being paid to Howard, Lewis had been able to get some good looks early on, and he heated up quickly on his way to 18 points in the 2nd quarter alone.
Lewis is the fire right now. He what, 2 in a row, 3 in a row? Right, got offensive rebound, little J Corner 3, right? So we got to put out that fight.
The Lakers had remained aggressive, using their defense to spark momentum as they had all postseason long, And as the two teams battled down the stretch, it was the Magic who had the ball with a chance to win at the end of regulation.
Turkoglu again will trigger. Odom jumping up high to obscure his view. A lob to the basket for Lee. Party laid it up, no good! And we'll go to overtime.
Having been given a gift courtesy of the blown play, the Lakers would never look back in overtime, as the duo of Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol would prove just why they had become known as one of the game's elite tandems.
Bryant, jab step, drive, puts it up, shot's good. Top shot, the Lakers back up by one. Puts LA at the free throw line. Bryant looks inside, finds Gasol, counted, and a foul.
Together, the two would combine for 53 points, burying the Magic's hopes for a Game 2 upset and walking away with a well-earned 5-point overtime victory.
Still waiting for a big smile out of you. You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or?
Still to be happy about.
You're up 2-0.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
With the series going back to Orlando, the Magic knew it was now or never to make a statement in the series. The Amway Center hadn't seen an NBA Finals matchup since Shaq and Penny ran the show in 1995, and the city was buzzing with excitement. Kobe Bryant, however, had other plans, as he would start the game scorching hot, dropping 17 points in the first quarter to pull the Lakers out to a 4-point lead heading into the second. The Magic would respond with a run of their own, as Turkoglu and Lewis poured in shots from the perimeter, and the Orlando crowd witnessed their team put together their most impressive performance of the series, with 5 guys scoring at least 18 points. The offensive onslaught would be too much for Los Angeles, with the Magic on their way to a crucial 4-point win in Game 3.
It's a tough team. It's not a cupcake team. It's a tough loss for us. And, we feel like we can play much, much better. So tomorrow, just make your adjustments and get ready to go.
Aware of the dangers that come with giving an underdog opponent hope, Kobe and the Lakers had no intentions of letting this series get out of hand. And from the moment Game 4 got underway, it was clear that Bryant wasn't interested in seeing the series go on any longer.
So the midway point of the first, Bryant to the basket, drive, shot's good, and a foul. Good move by Bryant. Bryant leans in, puts it up, puts it in, top shot.
The Magic refused to go down easy, and it took a big shot by the veteran Derek Fisher to send the game to overtime. But by the time the final buzzer sounded, the Mamba had scored 32 points and collected 8 assists in an 8-point win. Now with the championship in reach and Orlando down 3-1, there was no question what was coming next.
One thing. Real quick. In 2000, we won the championship against Indiana. And in Game 5, we assumed that Indiana was going to lay down. And That's true. So Sunday, when we show up here, the same determination, fight, grit, belief, confidence, we got to show up with that again on Sunday. They're not going to quit. You don't get this far and quit. So let's enjoy this. But, hey, Sunday, man.
One more.
On a mission that had spanned the course of almost a decade, looking to achieve his first championship in the post-Shaq era, Kobe Bryant entered Game 5 as focused as he had ever been in his career. He had made strides as a leader this season, learning from past mistakes and committing himself to guiding this team to championship glory. As he had done all series long, the game's greatest closer came out of the gates attacking, scoring 11 points in the first quarter with the intent of crushing the Magic's spirits early. Everyone in the Amway Center crowd witnessed one of the game's all-time greats rise to the occasion in the game that mattered most.
Kobe Bryant and the finish. This is Mozart in sneakers for Kobe Bryant. Bryant looking double team, gets it to go. Top shot field. Bryant knocks it down. They're at their best. He's making plays. Wow! And speaking of making plays, Bryant banks it in. Mama, there goes that man.
Behind his example, the rest of the Lakers followed suit, with Trevor Ariza continuing his elite defensive play and Lamar Odom knocking down big shots off the bench to keep the Lakers in front.
Go, keep pushing. Keep pushing.
As the seconds began to tick down, the Lakers' execution on both ends would prove to be too much for Orlando. And after a long journey of ups and downs, it was time for the purple and gold to celebrate.
The Lakers are NBA champions once again. LA wins the 2009 NBA title.
Such a long journey, so many ups and downs, and so many sacrifices for my family and me working hard.
After the crushing defeat in the finals the previous season, Kobe Bryant had finally proven to the world that he could lead the Lakers to an NBA championship. Over the course of the series, Bryant had averaged 32.4 points, 7 assists, 1.4 steals, and 1.4 blocks per game, a stat line that earned him his first career Finals MVP and made him the first player since Michael Jordan to average 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists on the winning team in the finals. Fueled by years of public ridicule, on-court team struggles, and questions about if he could do it, Kobe had once and for all shown the world that he was capable of anything he put his mind to.
It's rare in a career when you get to the top of the mountain and then you gotta start over again. And then you get back up to the top of the mountain again. You just don't see that too often. And I feel very fortunate and very blessed to be in this situation, and just proud.
While winning his 4th ring, the first without Shaq, was a career-defining moment, it was obvious that Bryant still wasn't satisfied with easing up his hunt for rings. After all, his idol and eventual mentor Michael Jordan had been able to win 6 during the Bulls' historic run in the 90s, and former teammate O'Neal had already been able to win his 4th a few years previously in Miami. Kobe knew that in order to be on the level of the all-time greats, another ring was needed to properly fill out his resume. With Phil Jackson reprising his role as head coach and the core pieces of the roster remaining intact going into the 2009-2010 season, the Lakers had already been seen as the favorites. But the addition of a familiar face who had given Los Angeles trouble in the 2009 playoffs would be a key ingredient to another title run.
Ron Artest, who's actually a year younger than Kobe Bryant, joining the Lake Show. 2 years ago, he told Kobe Bryant that he wanted to help him win a championship, and now that day has finally arrived.
How this was going to happen, so it wasn't like a surprise type thing. Like I said, I wanted to be a teammate of his and be a part of the Lakers for a long time.
Adding a proven scorer and elite defender in Ron Artest rounded out an already championship caliber lineup in LA. And as the season got underway, it was clear that Kobe and the Lake Show were once again on a mission.
You know, the end result is repeating, but and it's a whole nother year. You know, we did last year was great. It's not that difficult to me. Just forget about it and move on to the next season. Just win it again.
After receiving the symbol of their hard work from the previous season on opening night, the Lakers would win 18 of their first 21 games to start the regular season, looking invincible as the chemistry forged in the postseason rolled over into the new year. Kobe Bryant continued his reign as the game's most talented scorer, putting up 30 over 9 times during that stretch, and growing his legend as one of the game's greatest closers with a collection of game-winning shots that single-handedly propelled the Lakers to victory.
Artest looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up for the buzzer. Banks it in! He banks in the 3! Amazing! Kobe has just won it for the Lakers!
It was such a Kobe moment. I actually couldn't be that mad because I looked down and said, it's Kobe. He's either laugh or cry. I don't know what's supposed to do or laugh. Hey, man, the only person I'm like, look, anybody else, I'll tore that locker room up.
The Lakers for the win. Kobe going up over Bell, ball away. Yes! Yes! At the buzzer, he does it! Was there ever a doubt? Kobe push it past Kobe.
He is hard to believe.
Even after the hot start, the middle of the season brought some adversity, as some offensive struggles had added more pressure on Bryant to rise to the occasion, something he never shied away from. But it didn't take long to see that his body was struggling to carry the load that his mind was willing to.
Kobe came up guilty on that play.
There's a variety of things that went on with him in the course of the year.
Kobe plays hurt, injured, tweaked ankles, dislocated fingers, bad wrist, back spasms, night in and night out.
His finger, he had a hip situation, hurt his knee. He finally had to submit to the fact that I'm doing a disservice to myself, and now I'm going to have to sit back here a little bit and recuperate.
While Kobe was forced to step away from the game for 3 weeks to get healthy prior to the playoffs, the rest of the Lakers stepped up to fill his responsibilities on the court, as an increase in team chemistry led to 4 straight wins in his absence, and as he returned, the roster once again made strides down the home stretch. Los Angeles would end up finishing with a Western Conference best 57 wins, clinching the #1 seed for the 3rd straight season. Kobe Bryant had been deadly as ever, averaging 27 points and 5 assists on 46% shooting per game, and becoming the youngest player to ever score 25,000 points at the age of 31. Once again taking his spot on the first team All-NBA and All-Defense, the stars had once again aligned for Bryant to lead the Lakers into the playoffs, and the quest for the elusive repeat championship was on. Despite once again being the West's top seed, there were still people who doubted the Lakers' ability for a back-to-back, especially after a few bad losses at the end of the regular season had left them looking vulnerable. Regardless, the postseason was a new opportunity to silence critics, and the first team that stood in their way was an uncharacteristically talented 8 seed in Oklahoma City. The Thunder featured the youngest scoring champion in NBA history, as a 21-year-old Kevin Durant had taken the league by storm in only his 3rd season. However, just as the Lakers had hoped, the investment of Ron Artest in the summer would pay off early in the series, as the highly touted on-ball defender would make life difficult for Durant, holding him to just 29% shooting in Game 1. Behind a big double-double performance by Pau Gasol, the Lakers would secure an 8-point win at the Staples Center, then battled hard in Game 2 in a close contest that saw Bryant drop 39 points to give LA a 2-0 series lead. Still, the young Thunder refused to go down easy, storming back in OKC with back-to-back wins of their own over the Lakers, something that Los Angeles hadn't experienced since the 2008 finals.
Where's the mind frame for this team?
I'm not sure. But we understand this is a tough test. I mean, said at the beginning of the series, this wasn't going to be easy. It's going to be a long series. It's going to be a dogfight.
Kobe and the Lakers had to take care of business at home if they wanted to avoid a 7-game series in round 1. And after picking up a gritty 24-point victory behind a big performance from Pau Gasol, it would be LA with the chance to send the Thunder packing in Game 6. Kobe Bryant would be locked in entering the contest, determined to keep the Thunder from extending the series. After a 16-point outburst in the 3rd quarter by Bryant to halt OKC's momentum, it was Pau Gasol who would make the biggest play of the game. The Utah Jazz had high hopes for their 3rd chance in a row at facing the Lakers in the postseason, but quickly found themselves suffering a familiar fate, as despite their best efforts, they couldn't prevent Los Angeles from pulling off a 4-game sweep. Bryant had been relentless, preventing any momentum from Utah by answering their runs with timely buckets and demoralizing performances. After a poor playoff performance against the Jazz as a rookie that had been a driving factor in Bryant's development into one of the game's top stars, there was something poetic about his play throughout the series. Kobe would score over 30 in all 4 games, including a combined 65-point outburst with Pau Gasol in Game 4. And now, with extra time to rest before the Western Conference Finals, the Lakers were once again hitting their stride at the right time. After defeating one of his former rivals, it was only fitting that waiting for Kobe and the Lakers in the conference finals would be another team that had previously been an obstacle for LA. Led by 2-time MVP Steve Nash and All-Star Amari Stoudemire, the Suns had revamped their roster under new head coach Alvin Gentry, winning 54 games and coming off a sweep of their own against the Spurs. It seemed like the series was all but decided early on, with Kobe dropping 40 points on 56% shooting in a 21-point Game 1 win for LA, and then the Lakers pulling out a 12-point victory in Game 2 behind a 29-point performance by Pau Gasol to make the series 2-0. However, as Kobe knew all too well, the Suns were a resilient team, and with the series headed back to Phoenix, they would gain momentum on their home court, coming up with 2 wins of their own. The first was thanks to a 42-point and 11-rebound masterclass by Amari Stoudemire, and the second came from a hot shooting performance from their bench that would hold off a 38-point effort by Bryant in Game 4. With Game 5 being a must-win for LA, they would respond how they had all season, with Kobe continuing his elite play, leading the charge for the Lakers.
Game number 4, here's Kobe Bryant. What a run he has had. Bryant. He had to extend to get it off. Order here the bench. They have not gotten into any rhythm, and Kobe gets that sweet spot that he likes against the zone. Saw him before the start of this period. Bryant with a long 3. And Phoenix hopes they could get that home court and go home for Game 6. And Kobe says we'll have no part of that as he puts his team back up 6 again.
Similar to Game 6 against the Thunder, this contest would come down to the final possession. And once again, it was another member of the Lakers who was willing to step up when they were most needed. With all the momentum in the series following Ron Artest's clutch play to win Game 5, the Lakers would close the series out with a convincing 8-point win in Game 6, with Bryant sealing the Suns' fate with yet another big performance, scoring 37 to send Phoenix home and bring his average for the series to a playoff-best 33.7 points per game. After another long playoff run, Kobe and the Lakers had once again reached the NBA Finals, but this time it would be against an opponent they knew all too well. Putting together what many had called an unprecedented roster at the time in 2007, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen had re-established the Boston Celtics as one of the league's top franchises. With a well-rounded roster that played well on both ends of the floor, Boston had taken the league by storm in its first season together, capturing the 2008 NBA championship over the Lakers in an intense 7-game series.
Right now. Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
Now, after narrowly missing the opportunity for a rematch in the 2009 finals, the Celtics were back on top of the East and hungry for another ring. On the opposite side, from the moment the final buzzer sounded in 2008, Kobe and the Lakers had been hungry for a chance at revenge in a series they felt should have been theirs. Something that still stuck with them even after winning a title of their own the previous year. 2 years later, and with each team having split the previous 2 championships, the 2010 finals would be an ultimate showdown between the league's 2 most historic franchises, and it would be one of the most anticipated matchups in NBA history.
We're going right now, right at tip-off, we're going. This is our turn, let's go. Go. What time is it? Game time.
It was clear from the opening tip in Game 1 that this was not the same Lakers team from 2008, as they showcased a newfound toughness and grit that had been lacking in their first matchup with Boston. Behind strong efforts by Pau Gasol on both ends and a strong group effort to stifle the Celtics' offense, the Lakers handled business on their home court. Kobe would finish the game with 30 points, 18 of which came in the second half, to secure a 13-point win for Los Angeles.
We got to put our souls in this game. You know what you're supposed to do, but we got to go do it.
With only 3 teams ever coming back from an 0-2 deficit in the finals, the Celtics knew they had to come out strong in Game 2, and a big performance from one of their big 3 would give them just the boost they needed.
Really trying to get back as Allen fires a 3, knocks it down. Ray Allen has the highest three-point percentage in NBA Finals history. He's had an 18-rebound game in these playoffs. Back for Allen, a 3. It's good. Ray Allen from downtown. Ray Allen backs out, a 3. Knocks it down again. Ray Allen from downtown. He's 4 for 4.
Behind the start to one of the greatest shooting performances in NBA Finals history, longtime rival of Kobe Bryant, Ray Allen would knock down 7 threes in 8 attempts in the first half, finding ways to get free of the Lakers' defense and showing exactly why he was the NBA's all-time leader in three-pointers made. The third quarter saw Los Angeles fight back, with a balanced attack courtesy of the triangle offense, and as the game entered the fourth, both teams were locked in a standstill. This wouldn't last long though, with another Celtics stepping up in crunch time, as Rajon Rondo's 10 points in the final quarter would spark Boston's offense and secure a 103-94 Boston win in the Staples Center. Allen would end the game with 32 points, including the record for most threes ever in a finals game at the time. And just like that, the series was tied up heading across the country to Boston.
I love being the enemy and haters, especially when you win. Nothing like it.
This could be the last time we play here. Better not be the last time we play here. And it could be. You don't change your ways.
Kobe Bryant had struggled in Game 2. Scoring only 21 points on 20 shots and being unable to get a rhythm going as the Celtics defense smothered him on every possession. Now with a pivotal Game 3 on the line, he would be on a mission to establish himself in the series once again. Standing in his way was future Hall of Famer Kevin Garnett, who after struggling in the first 2 games of the series would find his offensive touch early on, going right at the Lakers and playing with the emotion that had defined his career. In the back and forth contest, Kobe would lead the charge for LA, rising to the occasion by scoring 29 points and contributing in big moments as the series once again came to a close fourth quarter.
But you see the defense by Fisher. He's not giving them any airspace, making those shots a little tougher. Kobe Bryant and a foul. Bryant gets away from Rondo. Oh, what a pretty move. Left-handed floats it in. Bryant takes it away from Garnett. Finds Bynum inside. Counted and a foul. Great hustle play from Kobe Bryant.
In crunch time, it would be 35-year-old Derek Fisher, who had built a reputation for clutch performances that would put together an 11-point outburst to push the Lakers ahead in a 91-84 win. Just 1 game after giving up home court advantage, LA had taken it right back, securing a 2-1 lead. Once again feeling the pressure, Boston knew that Game 4 was another opportunity to swing the momentum of the series, and once again they would respond the way champions do. Behind a strong overall team performance, led by longtime Celtic Paul Pierce, Boston would pound the ball in the paint, attacking the rim and forcing the Lakers to stop them inside. The strategy would work early on, but once again, LA would make a mid-game run that kept things close entering the final minutes.
Bryant hits a three. Kobe Bryant answers right back. Allen is on Kobe Bryant. Tough shot. Gets it to go. Wants the ball. Brown's got a little quiet. Kobe Bryant drills the three-pointer.
This time, however, it would be Boston who would make a clutch run, as they outscored the Lakers by 10 points in the fourth quarter on their way to a 7-point victory. Kobe had been relentless in the final quarter, getting to the free throw line at will and contributing 12 points in the fourth alone. But an unexpected bench performance from Glenn Davis and Nate Robinson would be the game's deciding factor. Feeling all the momentum now after watching their bench put away the Lakers in Game 4, the Celtics were anxious to make a statement in front of their home crowd for Game 5. Behind 15 first-half points on his way to his best performance of the series, Paul Pierce would help propel the Celtics to a 7-point lead going into halftime. But Boston was met with an aggressive Kobe Bryant, who was doing everything he could to provide an offensive spark for his team.
There, Kobe Bryant. Oh, what a tough shot. Perkins, good help defense there. Bryant again. Bryant, one dribble. Again from three-point range. Kobe Bryant, 10 points in less than 4 minutes here in the third quarter.
Despite scoring 19 points in the third quarter and finishing the game with a total of 38, Bryant and the Lakers were unable to contain Boston's Big Three, who combined for 32 of their team's points on their way to a pivotal Game 5 win. Los Angeles now had their backs against the wall for the first time this season, facing a 3-2 series deficit and needing to win 2 games in a row against one of the league's most dominant teams in order to keep their championship hopes alive.
The challenge, obviously, is down 3-2. We let a couple opportunities slip away, but it is what it is. Like, you go home, you got 2 games at home that you need to win. Pull your boots up, get the work.
Behind their experienced and unrattled head coach Phil Jackson, the Lakers enter Game 6 knowing that in order to win the series, they'd have to put the last 2 games behind them.
All you have to do is win 2 home games and you're the champion. If you can't do that, you're not the champion. The Lakers, it's in their hand.
With the Staples Center buzzing and home court advantage in full effect, the Lakers would come out swinging while facing elimination, immediately getting after the Celtics at every opportunity. This fire spread to every Laker on the floor, from Kobe, Gasol, and Artest, all the way to guys on the bench playing big minutes. Every player on the roster knew that this would not be their final game. Together, they would hold Boston to only 67 points, their lowest total of the playoffs, and Kobe would provide the knockout punch thanks to a 26-point, 11-rebound, and 4-steal performance that sealed a 22-point victory for LA. The Lakers had responded to the adversity and came up big when it mattered most, forcing what was sure to be one of the most iconic Game 7s in NBA history.
Not, you know, for us, it's really just doing what we do. I mean, you can't really enjoy the moment when you're in it. In terms of, you know, what's happening. I mean, you just got a job to do. You go out there and you do it, and then you can look back on it after the fact, but during, you just got to go out there and do your job.
On June 17th, 2010, the Lakers and Celtics would face off in the most watched NBA Finals game since Michael Jordan's final game as the Bulls beat the Jazz in 1998. The build-up to the game was a fan's dream, the NBA's 2 most iconic franchises in a winner-takes-all matchup for the championship. For Kobe Bryant, this matchup meant a final chance at redemption for the lost 2 years prior, and presented yet another chance to etch his name in history books. As the game got underway, it was the Celtics who would strike first, hungry to make sure they didn't let their chance at another title slip away. Rondo would be a key factor early on, finding his teammates and helping Boston jump out to an early 9-point lead. Kobe had struggled to find his footing early on, but it was the contribution of Ron Artest in the second quarter, both offensively and defensively, that would allow the Lakers to go on a run of their own.
Artest with the steal. Drives down, lays it in.
The two teams would go back and forth for the rest of the half, with Boston up 6 as the dust settled and the two teams headed to their locker rooms. As the second half began, it was now the Lakers who would come out as the aggressors, scratching and clawing their way towards only being down 4 points heading to the fourth. The entire series and season would come down to this final 12 minutes. Having added Ron Artest in the offseason to help defend their championship crown, the Lakers would once again see their decision pay off, as Artest would continue his inspired play on both ends and fuel the Lakers during an intense crunch time run that would see them take the lead. Kobe remained aggressive, drawing fouls as the Celtics scrambled to contain him, and knocking down big free throws to keep the Lakers ahead. Boston refused to go down easy, with Rasheed Wallace knocking down a big triple to cut the lead to 3 with only a minute left. But this time, it was Kobe's trust in another Laker that would be the deciding moment of the game.
Bryant looking. Artest, that's a 3. Bang! Lakers by 6 with a minute to play. Gasol kicks it out to Odom. Odom throws it ahead. The Lakers repeat back-to-back titles. The LA Lakers, the 2010 NBA champions.
It was a heck of a series, man. When we split and lost the second one here, going up to Boston, that was the most fun I think we've had, because our backs were against the wall and it was tough going into the Garden and winning. And then going down 3-2 and then having to bounce back and win. This is the sweetest one.
During the series, Bryant had averaged 28.6 points and 2 steals per game, overcoming Boston's increased defensive pressure and now being named NBA Finals MVP for the second consecutive year. The first player to earn the honor in back-to-back years since his former teammate Shaquille O'Neal did it during the Lakers' three-peat. In a way, this may have been as symbolic as any other aspect of Kobe's second championship run. Not only was he able to prove that he was capable of winning more rings without Shaq, but he did so in his own way, with a team that was designed to play around him and with his mentality. Few of the all-time greats have been fortunate enough to win multiple rings back-to-back in different eras. But the way Kobe was able to do it, with 2 completely different rosters and with 2 very different play styles, just speaks to his ability to adapt and constantly grow as a player. In the end, this will always be what made him special. And now, he had 5 rings and a lot of silenced critics to show for it.
The challenge was issued. Right, wrong, or indifferent. People saying, well, Kobe can't win without Shaq. Right? I said, okay, you know what? I'll show you. I'll show you. And so from that point, it became personal for me. I knew that winning the championship meant more to me than it did to everybody else. I treat this as life and death, and come hell or high water, that's what I was going to get done.
Dumps it home as he goes baseline. Wow.
Yeah, that right arm, boy, it's just there.
This is your shoulder, the ball in the socket, the deltoid's removed. Okay, your head's facing this way. And there's 4 muscles for your cuff. There's 1 here, 2, 3, 4. Unlike these previous MRI and your ultrasound that you had a couple months ago, this is pulled off. Torn and pulled off. Number 3, it's pulled off here. Right in this area. Okay?
It's pulled off the bone? Or
yes.
That's just in. Kobe Bryant has a torn
rotator cuff. That's according to the LA Lakers.
The end is near, and the end doesn't feel very good to me. It doesn't feel very good.
Yeah,
there's no last hurrah here. I don't.
Well, it's unfortunate.
On the surface, there isn't anything beautiful about this story. An athlete going into his 20th year, fighting back the grip of father time, trying to leave the game he loves on his own terms. His body was failing, suffering 3 straight season-ending injuries that had kept him off the court and in the seemingly endless cycle of rehab. Everyone had an opinion. His best years were behind him. Why not just give up now? Why keep showing the world what they already knew? Kobe Bryant would never be the same. But in this moment, from the depths of what should have been the ending, emerges one of the most powerful examples of resilience you'll ever see. Kobe had spent over half of his lifetime being the standard of resilience. By this point, the stories of his 4 a.m. workouts and obsessive repetition and training had become something of legend. The Mamba mentality was a direct contributor to the already long list of accolades that decorated his career. 5-time NBA champion, 3rd all-time in scoring, MVP. There was no questioning Kobe's ability to outwork everyone else. This, however, was a different type of challenge. What stood in front of Bryant wasn't a field of NBA stars looking to take his crown. It wasn't the ghost of past NBA legends whose legacy he was chasing. No, what stood in front of Kobe Bryant was a reflection of himself. Overcoming this would require him to approach his final season in a way like never before, and in turn become one of his most memorable accomplishments. After months of speculation, on November 29, 2015, Kobe Bryant released an article on the Players Tribune announcing to the world that it would be his last season in the NBA.
I mean, I've known for a while, right? And I've always said, if anything changes, then, I'll change my mind. But, the problem became for me, it's, what does that really mean? I mean, a decision like this, you can't make that decision based on, outside circumstances. I mean, it has to be an internal decision. And finally, I just had to just accept the fact that I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm okay with that. And, once I accepted that, then it became time to just let everybody know. I mean, why not? I mean, it's just, it takes a load off my shoulders and everybody else's. And I think it was just the right thing to do.
The announcement was met with a huge media buzz, as not only had Kobe been beloved by Lakers fans, but had been a staple at the top of basketball's biggest stage for over 2 decades. Prior to the first home game after the announcement, 18,997 fans were met with a sealed black envelope containing a printed copy of the letter, beginning a season-long cycle of giving and receiving, as well as birth what would become Kobe's farewell tour. The first stop fittingly came in Philadelphia, where Bryant had grown up as a kid in the stands of the Spectrum, watching his father play alongside Sixers legends, and later became a household name as a phenom out of local Lower Merion High School. Over the course of his career, he had many battles with the hometown 76ers, including a classic battle with Allen Iverson in the 2001 NBA Finals. Philadelphia showed nothing but respect to the greatest player to ever come out of their city.
A 6'6" guard from Lower Merion High School, where he won the title in 1996. Number 24, Kobe Bryant.
Throughout the season, every stop the Lakers made, each team would come up with their own way of thanking Bryant for his contributions to the game, from video tributes to unique gifts. The Atlanta Hawks collaborated with the Atlanta Zoo to have the name of their Black Mamba snake changed to Kobe, The Chicago Bulls had longtime teammate and friend of Bryant, Pau Gasol, announce his final introduction in the United Center. One of Kobe's greatest rivals, the Boston Celtics, would give him a framed piece of the parquet floor, allowing him to take with him a physical memory of the battles that had taken place there over the years. Perhaps the most meaningful of all these tributes came on December 28, 2015, when prior to the Lakers game against Charlotte, he was met with a video message from none other than his childhood hero and mentor, Michael Jordan.
I think when I look back, and the first time we actually played against each other, and the competitive drive that I saw within your eyes, even though the knowledge wasn't quite there yet, it was very invigorating. And I'm very happy to leave you this message to say how much we are very proud of what you've accomplished over the years. As I said a couple weeks ago, it's your last year. Just have fun. Take it a day at a time, enjoy it, and look forward to seeing what you do after this.
While the gifts and tributes were all memorable, the reality was that beneath all of the celebration, Kobe was battling through one of the hardest physical seasons of his career. The past 20 NBA seasons and countless hours of work had taken a toll on Bryant's body, and his last year was more than enough proof that his time on the court was running out. After enduring months of rehab to recover from his torn rotator cuff, an injury that left him unable to shoot a basketball for months, the 37-year-old was now facing the challenges of trying to play an 82-game season.
Dislocations hurt.
Yeah.
And he had there's different degrees of dislocations.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could see my face, I really had to put a lot of traction on that bone to get it back in place. That's how dislocated it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, as tough as he is, he was writhing in pain. So if you see Kobe writhing in pain, then you know it hurts. I put it in, as soon as I did, you could just see that his pain went away. Anybody else would have still been in pain, but he
walked right back on the court.
Yeah, before I could even tape it, because I wanted to tape it, he was already gone.
Kobe would strategize with the Lakers medical staff to make a plan that would allow him to accomplish his two main goals for the season: playing in his last game in every visiting arena, and being able to play the last 13 games of the year consecutively. Doing this was no easy task, as he was still fighting aggravation in his right shoulder from surgery the past summer, and had begun developing soreness in his right Achilles, something he took seriously after tearing the other in 2013. Even though there were games where he could barely walk to his car afterwards, thanks to the efforts by the medical staff, whether it be wrapping him up in ice during his time on the bench or giving him treatment on off days, over the course of the entire season, Bryant missed only 16 games for recovery and other minor injuries. Kobe was determined to give as many fans across the league as possible the opportunity to see him play during his final games. And while he was only a shell of the player that had once captured their love and hate, Bryant still had a glimpse of what made him great left to show the world. Despite shooting a career-low percentage due to fatigue and physical setbacks, Bryant showed flashes of a vintage Mamba over the course of the season, reminding the world of his killer instinct on the court and bringing crowds of purple and gold Kobe jerseys all over the country to their feet. One example of this came during an early December game against Washington, where he would catch fire in the fourth quarter, finishing with 31 points and hitting back-to-back jumpers to put the game on ice.
And he is Kobe for three. Unbelievable! Kobe Bryant knocks down another three. His fourth of the game.
That's what he said they call him now.
Guarded by Beal. Bryant, the jumper. Unbelievable!
Vintage Kobe.
In his final game in Boston, Bryant had struggled, starting out the game shooting 4 for 17 from the field. But in a way that only he could, he came alive in the closing moment, draining a dagger three to halt a Celtics comeback. After hitting the shot, rather than being showered with boos, as he had been so many times in his career, cheers rained down from the TD Garden crowd. The Celtics faithful chanting Kobe's name in respect for the years of legendary battles between the two franchises. One of the most memorable moments of the season came on February 2nd, 2016, against the Minnesota Timberwolves, where Kobe would be facing off with a familiar opponent. Following the tragic passing of then Wolves coach Flip Saunders, former Coach of the Year Sam Mitchell had been named the interim head coach for the remainder of the season. Mitchell had been the head coach of the Toronto Raptors for years prior, and just so happened to have been on the losing side of Kobe's historic 81-point performance in 2006. And on this night, Kobe would raise his game to vintage levels. Throughout the back and forth contest, Kobe had 24 points entering the fourth quarter, staying aggressive and looking more fresh than he had all season. Then, just as Minnesota would take the lead with 5 minutes left and it seemed like the Wolves would walk away with the win, Kobe Bryant stepped back in time. He would hit back-to-back go-ahead threes, followed by 8 points in the last 26 seconds to seal the win for LA. The Staples Center was electric, with every fan in the building on their feet, and the basketball world reminded of the awe-inspiring performance that Bryant was capable of. However, not everyone was enjoying the nostalgia. After witnessing Kobe drop a then season-high 38 points and knock down 7 threes, Coach Mitchell didn't hold back after the game, saying, quote, "I hate him. If I don't ever see him again, it won't be too soon." All-Star Weekend had always been Kobe's moment. From the time he stepped into the league and stole the show at the dunk contest as a rookie, Bryant had been a staple in the festivities that showcased the league's best, and 2016 would be no different. Racking up more All-Star votes than any other active player, including soon-to-be unanimous MVP Stephen Curry, it was clear that this year would be a celebration of the 18-time All-Star.
Kind of sad for me to think that this is your last All-Star game. How about you?
No, I mean, you know, it's exciting. I mean, to be able to play for this many years, and be around so many great players for all these years, it's a beautiful feeling to be able to have this.
The game is in good hands.
Prior to the game, the NBA would present Kobe with a video tribute that captured all he had meant to the event over the years. Bryant would play minimum minutes in the contest, contributing 10 points along with 6 boards and 7 assists. But for the 4-time All-Star Game MVP, the moment was more than stats. The rosters were filled with guys of all ages, some that had been heated rivals over the years, and others that were young players who had grown up idolizing Bryant, just as he had done with greats before him. This dynamic made the opportunity to play alongside the league's best one final time something that Kobe would never forget. In a way, it defined what made his last season so memorable, representing the impact he had made on the game he loved, something that transcended multiple generations. One of the most unexpected but memorable aspects of Kobe's final season came not from his play on the court, but the impact that was left by him off of it. While Kobe's game wasn't as polished as it had been in his prime, his mind was as sharp as ever. And just as he had picked the brain of his heroes like Michael Jordan as a rookie, the league's young players were eager to learn from the game's best. It started with young talent on the Lakers, like future All-Star D'Angelo Russell and Julius Randle, who were dedicated to gaining as much knowledge as possible from Bryant. Then, as Kobe began making his final rounds across the league, more and more of the future generation of the game began to approach him. Whether it be phone conversations, text messages, or autographed shoes after the game, players all over the league were hungry to learn. Prior to this, Bryant had never been seen as a mentor. He had gained a reputation across the league as a fiery competitor who spared no feelings in order to get results. However, as the season rolled on, Kobe accepted the role and in turn planted seeds in many of the game's future stars that can still be seen to this day. The 20-year career of Kobe Bryant came to its closing chapter on April 13, 2016. The buzz around Los Angeles was as big as it had been all year, with the Staples Center decked out in purple and gold banners, setting the stage for the Mamba's final performance. From the moment Kobe announced his retirement, fans had been preparing for this night, and everyone, from die-hard Lakers fans to the top celebrities, wanted to see what he had in store.
Kobe, they're doing a big celebration for you the last game. A lot of us are going to be there. Can you promise me one thing?
What's up?
I need 50 that night. Can you do it? The last home game at the Staples, can you give us 50?
More than two. No. No, absolutely not.
All right, brother.
Absolutely not, man.
As the game went underway, a noticeably eager Kobe got off to a slow start, missing his first 5 shots. However, this was Kobe's final test, and he wasn't going to walk off the court until he had emptied every ounce of gas out of the tank. Over the next 2 hours, in true Kobe fashion, he would launch 50 shots from the field, not only trying to make a statement, but also on a mission to carry the Lakers to one final victory. Midway through the 4th quarter, he would score his 45th point, passing the record for the most points in a final game. Trailing by 10 with 2:36 remaining, Kobe would single-handedly take over the game, bringing the crowd to their feet as they witnessed Bryant transform into the player that had been the face of the game for over 20 years. Down 1 with 32 seconds on the clock, everyone in the world knew what was coming next.
The Lakers down 1. Will Kobe give them one last gamer? Bryant on the move with the jumper. He got it! 58 points! And the Lakers lead!
Kobe would drain 2 free throws at the end of the game to give him an NBA record 60 points in his final game and seal one last victory in his career. Before walking off the court, Kobe would address the Staples Center crowd, then exit into the tunnel for the final time.
All I can do here is just thank you guys. Thank you guys for all the years of support. Thank you guys for all the motivation. Thank you for all the inspiration. You guys will always be in my heart. And I sincerely appreciate it. No words can describe how I feel about you guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. God, I love you guys. And I love you guys. And Mamba out.
Sports Center, Zuba Mahenti, I'm Michael Lees. Breaking news in this Sunday afternoon. 5-time NBA champion, former league MVP Kobe Bryant died earlier this afternoon in Los Angeles in a helicopter crash. News reports are just coming in.
It happened this morning. The chopper reportedly went down just before 10 a.m. local time, according to the fire department out there in Calabasas, California. That's northwest.
On January 26, 2020, Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, were involved in a fatal helicopter crash around Calabasas, California. The tragedy shook every person who learned the news, resulting in an outpouring of emotion from every corner of the world. The following days, weeks, and months were filled with mourning, as fans and players alike across the NBA paid their respect to one of the game's biggest icons. To this day, it's hard to believe he's gone. Very few athletes in the history of sports were able to connect with fans in the way Kobe was able to. Whether you spent your time chanting his name or hating him for what he did to your team, you couldn't help but have the utmost respect for a man who was willing to give everything he had to his craft. This is one of the greatest lessons we can take from his life, no matter what your occupation is, or what you call your passion. Whether it be simply loving family or chasing a dream, you can be successful if you commit yourself to giving everything you have. Perhaps the best example of this came during his final season in the NBA. There was nothing glamorous about it. Between the fatigue of a 20-year career and an aging body that felt like it was on the verge of giving out, he was visibly exhausted and struggled to perform on the same level that fans had become accustomed to. But rather than stop, he chose to go out on his own terms, proving one final time that he had the mental control to accomplish anything, regardless of what the rest of the world thought was possible. When Kobe Bryant walked off the court at the Staples Center that final time, it represented more than the end of a legendary NBA career. It represented the capability we all have to tackle even the most impossible of challenges. It isn't easy, it isn't pretty, but it's worth it. Kobe Bean Bryant. This collection of projects is a tribute to the life and career of an individual who truly set the standard for what it means to not only dedicate yourself to your craft, but to seek daily improvement in every aspect of one's life. Whether it be as shooting guard of the Los Angeles Lakers, budding entrepreneur in the world of business, or simply a dedicated father, Kobe set an example in his life that we all have the privilege of learning from. Kobe Bryant's legacy goes without saying. The kid from Philly took the NBA by storm, rising above already high expectations to become one of the greatest to ever step on the court. He inspired generations of athletes who have followed in his footsteps. However, I believe there is far more to remember him by. His true legacy is the way he continues to motivate you and I to be the best versions of ourselves, even years after that tragic day. To me, this is Kobe's greatest impact. Not his accolades or broken records, not his rings, not even his place in the Hall of Fame. His legacy is the way he inspired, showing the world what it means to live with the Mamba mentality. It's something we can carry with us always. And for that, we say thank you.
I've always said that I wanted to be remembered as a player that didn't waste a moment, didn't waste a day. And I felt extremely blessed by the God-given talent. But at the same time, I didn't take it for granted at all. And so if I could be remembered as a person that was born with a lot of talent, but did everything he could to try to overachieve, that lived every day as if he was the 12th guy on the bench. I think that's a very powerful message to have, and something that hopefully the players that are now and players that'll come later choose to embody as well.